Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going to ask a rather obvious question that thus far has been overlooked almost completely. Why are humans, even in the new world? And again, I'm not talking about mighty players, but about the average climb. But before we are going to take a look at this question, let me thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as all users of the YouTube thanks function who made one-time donations. Now, with that said, let's dive into this topic, and first and foremost, while this video will pick up on important themes and plot points of the 4th season, you can actually watch it in its entirety without suffering through any spoilers. Now, first and foremost, we have to take a look at the history of the New World from the perspective of the Slane Theocracy and its cardinals. As their story goes, 600 years ago, the 6 great gods, which almost certainly have been 6 powerful players, were transported to the New World and saved humanity from certain extinction. This heroic act, combined with their sheer power and their leadership, led to the formation of the 6 temples that are now constituting the higher governmental bodies of the Theocracy and dominate the life of the inhabitants of Slane. Later, the 8 great kings have conquered the continent, wiped out or at least greatly decimated many strong kingdoms and species, and thus lowered the average level in the New World, at least in their continent-spanning empire, which made it easier for humanity to survive, even after the 8 great kings had perished at their own hands. And just like the Slane Theocracy for them, they also introduced and spread tier magic through the entire continent. But still, without the Theocracy guarding humanity, the kingdom, the empire, and all other human nations would lack the strength to defend themselves against all of the powerful demi-humans and heteromorphs living in the New World. I mean, even goblins who are weaker in physical terms than humans are better adapted to survive in the New World because they have night vision, they have a far higher rate of procreation, and they can acquire protection by the bigger and stronger ogres. And while all of this story is well and good and gives us an explanation why the Theocracy is a thing, or how humanity survived, and how it almost didn't, it leaves one big question open for interpretation. Where did the humans hail from that were saved by the 6 great gods 600 years ago from otherwise certain extinction? Because, think about it, humanity would have gone extinct without the protection of the 6 players. They couldn't even survive without the help of the Slane Theocracy. How did they manage to survive 500 years ago, before the 8 great kings have decimated the most powerful races in the New World to a great extent? I mean, we can safely rule out players because they just appear every 100 years. And the first explanation I have for all of this is that the Theocracy might have originally came to the New World with a guild base filled to the brim with humans, or were at least transported to the New World alongside NPC humans from Yggdrasil. Imagine that the last 6 players of a guild, or even multiple guilds, have met up in a neutral city. And since it was the last day before the server shut down, they had no problem talking to one another, or even showing off their world item one player had acquired, since again it was the last day. What does it matter anymore? And then they were suddenly transported alongside the NPCs within the city. And now they were the only ones capable of defending the human NPCs, or their offspring. This would explain why there are even humans in the New World, and why their settlement regions are seemingly limited to that of the Slane Theocracy and the nations surrounding it. I mean, aside from the Carnaso City-State Alliance, no other human or at least mixed state exists this far away from the Slane Theocracy. The only exception might be the Minotaur Kingdom, where humans are now serving as thralls, instead of serving as dinner. And the center of the continent is contested by strong nations, like that of the Trolls, and thus it is uninhabitable for non-player protected humans. But there's an even more interesting possibility, that in fact, the 6 great gods weren't the first players to appear in the New World, but only the first known players for today's human population. Think about it. The Dragonlords were mighty, the world was still incredibly dangerous, and most players were humanoids, because heteromorphs such as Ainz had been despised, hunted and killed even in the game world of Yggdrasil, which means that if, let's say, a bunch of players with avatars in their mid-20s or mid-30s age-wise had been transported to the new world, like 700 years ago, they would die within the next 50 years, and thus leave their own human population they themselves brought from the game world of Yggdrasil into the new world unattended and ripe for conquest, or rather dinner. Once they die, their former realm would be torn apart, piece by piece, by strong demi-humans and heteromorphs that prey and feed on the easily defeated population. And by the time the next wave of players has arrived, the former population-rich nation has been lost, and most of the human population would have been already eaten. And it's not like the Slane Theocracy would have tolerated it when their newfound human population would have claimed that actually the 6 great gods weren't our original defenders, and they're just a second great defenders. We want our own great defenders back, but they are gone, so we have to make do with the 6 great players, I guess. I mean, this would be the exact moment one of these scriptures would show up to your doorstep for, let's call it, re-education. Maybe this is even the reason why there are scriptures in the first place. Who knows? And again, these are my 2 theories and explanations why humans have appeared and still have a presence in the new world, despite them being unable to survive on their own in it. Now please let me know all of your thoughts and ideas about it. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Bad Guy Yee, Ben C, Chrissy, Crowley0221, Sia, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Dystopia the Second, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, Chromius, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Michael R, Michael Y, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantom, Personage, Primus 11, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Texas Deer, the Orc Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, and Zonegon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video. Lastly, a quick explanation. You might have noticed if you have checked your subscription box, which don't exist, if you checked your feed the other day, you might have noticed that I uploaded short videos. And these are not necessarily new topics or something you need to watch, because they are mostly meant to introduce new fans to Overlord and the lore and all of its awesome characters and concepts. And I also upload the videos on TikTok in order to get more people interested in Overlord and in anime in general. And in my channel in particular.